Hey beekeepers, Hive Doctor here. Today we're going to put in some beetle traps. A simple process that I've never really considered covering before, but it's so simple, why not? So stick around. Welcome back beekeepers. Today we're going to do something pretty darn easy. I'm going to show you how to install a specific style of small hive beetle trap, the best time to put them in, and it's a quick, simple process, and it's a very easy preventative thing to do when it comes to beetle. And we'll also probably go over like where hive beetle thrive the most and what kind of conditions, so that you can set up your colonies and manage your equipment in such a way that it helps keep that hive beetle count down. So let's start opening up some hives and loading some beetle traps. So when it comes to trapping beetles, knowing where they congregate the most is going to be an advantage. And generally that's going to be the top box. So no matter how many boxes you have on your colony, putting those traps in the top is where they're going to work best, because beetles try to hide from the bees. I'm sure you've opened up your colonies before and you've seen bees chasing those beetles, the beetles running under the legs of the bees and them trying to grab onto them, and not doing so well. And especially sometimes when you open up that hive cover, you see a little congregation of beetles, and as soon as you open it up, they just spread. Well, the bees kind of corral them into certain areas, kind of like small hive beetle jail, and then we come along, we mess things up unintentionally and let them loose. In Florida, I only use one kind of beetle trap because that's what my mentor used, and it was the beetle barn, that clamshell shaped one. And it wasn't my favorite. I liked its thin profile, but it really didn't hold as many beetles, and it had to be checked fairly often because the bees would propolize the little entrances that the beetles would use to get into the trap with. So today we're going to use a different style, and it's the kind that sits between two frames. There's a couple of similar styles to this, same function but slightly different when it comes to just how they rest between the frames. I like this one because there's less moving parts than that other one, and so this is the one we're going to use today. So I have found, in my experience, the best place to place a beetle trap is going to be towards the back of the hive, and not quite in the middle, but slightly off center. So this one's going to go right here. I'm going to make sure there's no bees in the way because it does sit on two frames. And a lot of times you'll see people use two of these per box, but I hardly have any beetle right now, so I'm just going to use one per colony today. I think it's easier to go ahead and set this inside and then fill it, rather than hold it, fill it, and then put it in. There's less chances of spilling it. But at the same time, if you do it this way, you can't really see how much oil's in it, so you just gotta figure it out. I'm gonna probably put some in, pick it up, and see where the level is at. It doesn't take a lot. I'm gonna use a cheap vegetable oil that I got from the grocery store. It's just their name brand stuff. Don't use your extra virgin olive oil in this. You don't need anything quite so fancy. So I'm going to put about a 1/4 inch of oil in this, 1/4 inch deep. I would not use any kind of motor oil, just in case you're thinking of that. The smell would probably be too obnoxious for the bees. And that's all there is to it. So now it's just a matter of coming back during your regular hive inspections. When you come to check on this, if there's still room in there for more beetle, then just put it back. But if this is just full of beetle and there's hardly any room left for other beetles, go ahead and empty it and refill it. Because you can get so many beetles in these things that other beetles that come in will just walk on top of those beetles and walk right back out of the trap. And then it's a pointless endeavor. So for today, this is set, and I can just put the colony back together and I'm good. Now there's some other things you can keep in mind to understand about beetle that will help you combat them more easily. So first off, when is the best time to put in these beetle traps? Is it A, when you see way too many beetles in your hive, or B, when you hardly see any at all? Well, if you guessed B, you were correct. This is something you want to do preventatively. Like, why wait until beetles get too out of hand before you start doing something about it? This way, you can head it off from the start before the momentum gets to be too much. Another thing to know about beetle is that they really thrive in humid environments. So this is actually the first time that I've used beetle traps in North Georgia. We're just not, you know, we do have humid weather, but it's not like it was when I was in Florida. Florida was way more humid. The beetles thrived there tremendously. I'm doing this because last year I saw more beetle than I ever have in my time here. So I'm gonna head them off at the pass, go ahead and get some traps in so that my bees don't have to expend all that extra energy and time wasting chasing beetle around that they'll never even catch. So one of the things I use, because I know humidity is a factor in helping small hive beetle, is that I ventilate my colonies by using screen bottom boards. These holes in the front of my boxes help the bees to ventilate a little bit more. And so it's not so humid of an environment for them to thrive in. And I'm even going to put one in my 5-frame nuke here. You especially want to make sure you're doing something like this in your smaller, weaker colonies, because when they're trying to get their feet under them and they've got to battle something like small hive beetle, it can be a real chore for them. And where they would have made it otherwise, now they just won't. I've caught a swarm before, it was small and weak, and it would have made it had I taken better precautions by putting it up further off the ground, but instead, where I was in Florida yet again, the bull ants moved in and just harassed them and they absconded. These are looking good just by looking down the top bars. This is the one that I made a video on about helping a weak colony, transferring it to another nuke and giving it some brood. And I can tell that capped brood has been emerging and their numbers are increasing daily. So I want to keep them on the uphill, like, you know, growing, doing really well. I've got a few more hives here to do today. I appreciate you guys joining me, and I'll see you in the next video.